Let's talk about how to sell your online course in 2025 with zero audience. So, the best way to sell an online course when you have no audience in 2025 requires just a little bit of setup. I'm always amazed at how this simple process really works. You definitely need to make sure you have a few things in place. I'm going to cover them briefly first, but I'm going to also include links below to other helpful videos that do a little bit of a deeper dive. And if you could go ahead and smash that subscribe button, that's a really simple way for you to support me so I can create more helpful videos for you. And if we haven't met before, my name is Sarah Turner. I'm an online course creator and expert marketer. I have been in the industry for over 10 years and teaching for the last 6. My first program went on to be a multi-million-dollar business, generating over 25 million in sales in just 5 years. And it was named number 24 on the Inc. 5000 list in education for the impact that it has. My online course has not only transformed my students' lives, it has also transformed my life, which is why I'm so passionate about helping other course creators. My online course helped me get recognized by the biggest name in my industry, and it also allowed me to be published much faster than I ever could have imagined. I really don't say all this to brag. I just want you to know just how powerful it is. And so if you are thinking about creating an online course, I want to help you get started so that you can also experience the power that comes from digital products. So a really important thing to understand if you have zero audience is that is where most people start. Most people do not start with an audience. If you happen to have an audience, that's pretty amazing. So one thing I am going to assume before we get going is at the very least you have a course idea that you have kind of figured out might be profitable. If you have not already gone through the process of identifying your ICA or your ideal customer avatar, identifying a topic and a transformation, I would love for you to check out some of the videos I've linked in my description below, because I'm going to assume that you have at the very least an idea, your ICA, your ideal customer avatar, your transformation statement outlined, and a general idea of your program. Now, you actually don't have to have your full program up and running to do what I'm about to share with you. In fact, I'd recommend that you have the structure of it or the basic idea, and you use everything I'm about to outline in order to truly validate it. Now, you should be doing some market research beforehand, but you want to be able to validate it before you actually dump money into ads or go all in on a top of funnel strategy, which would be the main way people find you, i.e. social media, YouTube organic, all different kinds of ways, right? To grow that audience eventually. But right now we have no audience, but I am assuming that you have some of the things I just outlined. And again, if you don't, that's okay. I've linked some videos below that will help you get up and running. Now, with that assumption, let's talk about what you're going to do. If you have no audience and you are in the beginning stages of having a course, what you're essentially going to do is run what we call a beta test. Now, a beta test is not necessary or doesn't really need to be a beta test if, for example, you are a service provider that provides one-to-one services, like maybe, for example, you're a therapist and you have already validated this idea. If you've already validated this idea because you have one-to-one clients and you're just looking to bring on new people to a digital product like an online course, then you probably don't need to run this as a beta test. However, you will still use this process very similarly. Now, the difference between a beta test is that you're really validating the idea and refining it. And the difference between not needing to do that and doing that is that you've already validated it through, again, those one-to-one services. So I hope we made that really clear. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to call this a beta test, right? Because it's how you're going to bring in your first few clients when you have zero audience, right, to your digital product. And I will say, if you have validated your idea with one-to-one services, for example, this is still a good idea to gain insight and refine your idea, because there will be some subtle changes that you'll make in a digital product so it really succeeds on its own without your one-to-one input and support, right? So again, for the sake of this conversation, we're just going to call it a beta test. And the reason all of this is so important is because this is how you're going to get your program into the hands of people and start creating that ripple effect where they start telling people about it. They start getting those transformations, being excited. You start growing your social proof, which is going to strengthen everything. That's how you build momentum. The key things here is that remembering you don't need an audience to start. You want to keep things simple and structured and clear. You want to focus on the transformation and not the content of the program. And you're going to use the feedback that you gain to refine your offer and your marketing messaging. Now, let's talk about the benefits of doing this process because it is really powerful. First, like I mentioned, you are going to attract those early adopters who are often going to be your biggest student successes, and they're going to be your cheerleaders, which brings me to my next point, which is this is going to help you build confidence and inspiration and motivation, which is so important in this process. The other benefit is that you are going to start prioritizing quick action over perfection. You are going to be honest and telling people all along the way what you're about, what you're going to help them achieve, how you've done it in the past, or how you're attempting to do it now. And that is going to mean that you're going to have to push back against perfection, which is essential in this entire process of being a course creator. You're also going to embrace iterative learning, which means you are realizing that there are going to be many different iterations of your program over time because you are going to be taking everything that you learn and constantly refining it. Okay, so where are we going to start first? First, you want to set some goals for bringing on these people. You want to test your content's effectiveness. You want to understand your ideal customer avatar better. You want to identify any learning gaps in your current curriculum. You want to build an efficient learning experience, and you're going to build initial demand and anticipation for when you launch again, because we are going to set this up as a one-time launch. That will help with scarcity and urgency. It will also allow you to focus your time, energy, and attention on the people in the program. I really love launches when people are first starting out because that gives you time where you're focusing on marketing and time where you're focusing on deliverability and execution. The next thing you want to focus on is your offer's transformation. And I did touch on this before, and I have a video that goes way deeper into it. But before we dig in, let's just talk about what change will your students experience, what will they be able to do after taking your program that they can't do now, or what problem does it solve? Go ahead and answer those questions quickly. Everything you're going to put out about your program should be focused around this transformation. I cannot emphasize this enough. The other thing you want to make sure is that you have identified your ideal customer avatar. Again, I have a video that goes deeper, but make sure you are being specific. So you want to make sure that whoever you bring on is truly invested in actually achieving this transformation. That means do not ask your sister, do not ask your mom, do not ask your coworker. What you want to do is make sure that you're putting out information about the transformation that they will achieve, and you are truly attracting people who are invested in actually making this happen for them. And the reason for that is because you want honest feedback so that you can get better and stronger. You want to make sure that this is actually a helpful process, and you want to make sure that they actually show up and do the work. Because if you have people come into your program and they don't do the work, then you're not learning, they're not winning, and it's just not a win-win for anybody. The other thing I want you to do is you should set a limited time and access. So specifically, make it small and structured. My favorite time period for a program is 90 days. That's because 90 days is a period of time where people can actually achieve something really impactful, but it's not so long that they start to fizzle out on motivation and inspiration. Now, if your transformation does not require 90 days, that's okay. That's even better. Shorter is better. But I would strongly recommend to ask yourself, what can you do to make the iteration of this particular program fit within 90 days? Because remember, it can always get a little bit bigger and beefier later on, but also I've tested a lot with my own programs and with other students' programs on the duration of a program, and past the 90-day mark, people start to really fizzle out in motivation, especially if they're not already seeing some pretty significant wins. You also want to do this to protect your time. And ideally, you're having people come in as a paid participant because they will value their experience more. They'll show up more, they'll have skin in the game. I promise you, offering this to people free initially is not the best way to do it. However, if you have to do it, it is okay, but I would strongly encourage you to actually charge for your first programs. I would also limit on the amount of people that you accept in. This is going to help keep you focused, make sure you have enough energy and time to devote to everyone, but it's also going to ensure that there's a little bit of scarcity involved. It's going to make it feel more exclusive. People are going to be more excited about jumping in on this opportunity. The next thing we need to talk about briefly is the course content and delivery. I recommend that you teach it live. Obviously, you'll have an outline and some structure to it, but this will mean that you don't have to do a ton of work on the front end. This will allow you to teach live, and also it'll allow you to learn from the people who are actually taking it, making that next iteration even better. Now, some tips for this. Use a loose outline, only focus on the essential stuff for this iteration. And keep the tech simple. You probably only need Google Docs, Zoom to host meetings and record things, and maybe a Facebook group to have an initial community that's totally free. One of the things I also really love about Facebook groups for your first iteration of your course is that it also pulls people in when they see it when they're popping on Facebook to mindlessly scroll. So that is a really great place to start. Another thing I want to make sure you don't overlook is that whatever you do, you want to make sure you set clear expectations. Try to anticipate the boundaries you need to set beforehand. Let these people know where you're at in your course creation journey. Be honest, be upfront. Say, this is the first iteration. You want to get in on it because this is the most affordable it's ever going to be. Let them know that they will be informing the process. Let them know that there will be changes and adjustments along the way, probably, and definitely after. And remind them that their feedback is essential to improving the experience. People really love to get in as a founding member and to be a part of the creation process. And a pro tip here is that you get to frame this as an exclusive opportunity. Again, this is something that people absolutely love to be a part of. They love getting in at the beginning of something where they feel like they're getting tremendous value for a fraction of the cost, and they get to be an active participant. Also, go ahead and decide on pricing. Again, I really recommend that you charge for your beta test. People will value it so much more, and they will have skin in the game. They will show up and give it a lot more energy and effort than they would if you were to be giving it away for free. Now, if you do it for free, I would strongly encourage you to have an application process so that you make sure that you are bringing in people who genuinely want to achieve this transformation. You can also offer it at a reduced rate from what you're going to probably officially sell it at. Another option is to sell it at full price, but with a lot of bonuses, maybe exclusive access to you, which will not be included later on, and any other bonuses that really increase the value of the offer. One thing I've got to be sure to mention is that you've really got to set some strong boundaries. Make sure you are setting boundaries onto how many calls you have, what kind of access they have to you, how they can access you, because if you don't, this can really lead into scope creep, which is okay. It does happen, and I love to call those policies in the making, meaning when something like that happens, there's a little bit of scope creep. Most of the time, people don't mean any harm. They're not trying to be, take advantage of you. They just need to have some solid boundaries. And when that happens, it's okay. You can go ahead and set them, or you can go ahead and set them in the next iteration. Okay, so we've talked about laying a really good foundation for bringing people in when you have no audience. Now, how do you actually get in front of them? There's a few things you can do. First things first, I want you to leverage your current network. Now, I had 0 followers besides friends when I first started my program, and I was shocked at how many people I brought in the very first iteration of my course. It was 13 people. Purchased my program at $1,000. Shocked. Now, what I had realized as I started talking to those people is that they did notice that I was traveling a lot and seemed to be going on adventures, and they were very curious as to how I was doing it. So when I said I was releasing a program that showed people exactly how I did it, those people jumped on board, especially because I shared openly that this was going to be the first iteration, I was going to be learning from students, and that I was going to be making it better as time goes on. I posted on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. I also posted on LinkedIn. Now, I want to encourage you to do the same thing, and I'm going to include a helpful template that you can use when you share as well. And I'm willing to bet you're going to be so surprised, because my students are always surprised by how many people are interested in their program when they just post to their immediate network. You can also reach out to past clients. If you are going to be creating a digital product and something that you've already helped people with, reaching out to your past clients to tell them about this is a great place to start. Go ahead and let them know what you're doing. I am sure they're going to be so excited to work with you in this new way. Let me share that sample post with you real quick. Now, remember, it's a little vague because I need you to insert your details about your transformation and your ICA. Exciting opportunity to insert your specific transformation. Or are you ready to insert your specific transformation. I am thrilled to announce a golden opportunity for, insert your ICA details, like you. I'm launching a groundbreaking program and I'm looking for a few select beta testers. Why should you be excited? As an industry expert, I've seen the challenges that countless individuals face while trying to excel in our field. Normally, working with me costs $10,000, but this is an opportunity to help me shape an impactful program so that you will not only gain access to it for free, but you'll be able to help shape this program so it meets your specific needs. Now remember, that first part is pretty vague and includes some details that might not be true for you. It's just to get you thinking and to get the creative juices flowing. Go ahead and make it your own. What's in store for you? 1. Exclusive access. Get early access to my revolutionary program before it goes to the public. 2. One-on-one guidance. Work with me directly, leveraging my years of experience. 3. Skill enhancement. Elevate your skills and knowledge to new heights. Valuable resources. Access a treasure trove of educational materials and resources. Now again, make sure that this is very specific to you. This is just a place for you to focus on some of the things that they will get when they work with you. And you want to make sure, again, that it's really focused on the transformation. You do not need to get into the nitty-gritty of your curriculum. They just want to know if you can actually help them achieve that transformation. Let's go back to this post. Why beta testers? I'm looking for dedicated individuals who are committed to a personal and professional growth. While this beta program is free or is $300, we want to make sure that it's the right fit for you. To maintain the program's quality and effectiveness, we are requesting all interested participants fill out a simple application. Again, in this example, I included an application because I was saying that it's free. You should really try to charge for your beta test though. Ready to take the next step? If you're enthusiastic about transforming X, Y, and Z and achieving your goals, don't miss this chance. Click the link below to fill out your application and secure your spot as a beta tester. It's also helpful if you include that there are only X number of spots. So insert what is actually accurate and specific to you. Then you can link to your application form and say something like, hurry, I'm only taking a few people. Together we'll embark on a journey of growth and success. Join me in shaping the future of our field. Let's make history together. Again, the more specific you can get to your particular ICA, the better. This is intentionally vague because I'm trying to make sure it applies to a lot of different people. Now, my next strategy is to leverage appropriate Facebook groups. So, thinking about your transformation and your ICA, I am willing to bet that there are Facebook groups that exist where they would maybe go to get some help with their current problem. You want to join those Facebook groups and you want to optimize your Facebook profile. So it says something along the lines of, I help people achieve insert transformation, with a link to however they can join your program. And then you want to jump in those groups and you just want to be super helpful. Do you know how easy it is to gain a reputation in a Facebook group or community by just being helpful? And what people will naturally do is they will see, wow, this person is so helpful and knowledgeable on this particular subject, that they will jump over to your profile to see who you are. And then lo and behold, they'll see that you have a solution for them. This strategy also works well on LinkedIn. And it's a really great way to build know, trust, and like factor among people when you have absolutely no audience. Again, I have helped so many people through this process, and they're always surprised at how simple and impactful it really is. So go ahead and get started and get those first cheerleaders into your program, and you will slowly and surely begin to grow. Thanks so much for being here. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you like this. Please leave me questions in the comments. I love to hear them. It gives me ideas for new videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.